Hello, cyclocross friends. It's Thursday, September 26, 2019, and you are tuned in to episode 5 of the Voler Apparel CX Heat Check Power Rankings. Brought to you by Voler Premium Collections and Custom Apparel for Women and Men. US made and built with pride and purpose for your best ride. It is available exclusively at Voler.com. That's VOLER.com. This week, the Heat Check is once again presented by Charm City Cyclocross. Come out to Baltimore, Maryland, October 12th and 13th for Charm City Cyclocross and the first 2 races in the Union Craft Brewing Rafa Parkway CX Trophy. This will be one of the biggest weekends in U.S. cyclocross and the first chance to wear the coveted Pactimo Leaders jersey. Register to race by going to charmcitycross.com. And now to the show. The North American Cyclocross World Cup extravaganza wrapped up this past weekend with a blazing fast C2 race on Friday and a muddy World Cup race for the ages on Sunday in Waterloo, Wisconsin. Needless to say, these races had a huge impact on the CX Heat Check Power Rankings. So let's get right to it. We are once again starting with the men's field and counting down the top 11 racers. And in the 11th spot, this week, it's...
My name is Steve Chanel Steve.
Steve Chanel Steve. 14th in the Waterloo World Cup and 4th in the Trek CX Cup C2. We will see how CSC survives in the 11th spot. So far, everyone who has landed here has been booted from the power rankings next week. It's now officially the Sports Illustrated cover jinx of the cyclocross world. Which brings us to the 10th spot, and it's Nicholas Kleppa, best known recently for being on the receiving end of the unintentional Jingle Cross barrier block. Kleppa finished 2nd in the Trek CX Cup C2 race and 7th in the Waterloo World Cup. In the 9th spot, it's Lawrence Sweck, winner of the Trek Cup CX-C2 race, and even more importantly, 16th place in the Waterloo World Cup. Why more importantly? Because with that 16th place finish, Sweck won the coveted Minnesota Golden Gopher Slow Ride Podcast 16th place hockey sweater. Coming in at number 8, dropping 1 spot from last week, is Curtis White. In 18th place in the World Cup and a day off for the C2 has the former CX Heat Check number 1 continuing to slide down the power rankings. Which brings us to number 7. And in that spot is Kerry, don't call him Kenny, Werner. At 17th place, the Kona Maxxis rider was the first non-Belgian or non-Dutch rider to finish the World Cup, which the algorithm rewards. In 11th place in the C2 helped Werner leapfrog White for this week. We're at the 6th spot, and it belongs to Corne Van Kessel. A 5th place in the World Cup and a 5th place in the C2 after T-boning Thies Aerts and dropping way back in the field definitely helped Van Kessel get onto the power rankings. The Van der Haar rule, which states that in the absence of Matthew van der Poel, at least one Dutch rider needs to be represented in the heat check, solidified his selection. Which brings us to our top 5. And in the 5 hole, it's Don Sota. Only in 11th place for Don at Trek means he's still banking on the podium finish in Iowa City to keep him on the CX Heat Check Power Rankings wide-angle podium. In the 4th spot on the Power Rankings is Michael Van Torenhout. A 7th place in the Iowa City World Cup and a 3rd place in the Waterloo World Cup has Van Torenhout debuting on the Power Rankings in the 4th spot. Which brings us to number 3. And in the immortal words of Roland Gift of the Fine Young Cannibals, Johnny, we're sorry. To set the record straight, the CX Heat Check loves Gianni Vermeersch. Vermeersching isn't a pejorative, but rather a state of being. And we know you didn't pull that gate into the track on purpose. It wasn't secure, saw it with our own eyes. A 4th place in the Waterloo World Cup to go along with the 4th place in the Iowa City World Cup, along with the C1 win, drops Vermeersch 1 spot to 3rd. And in at number 2, it's Toon Aerts. The winner of the World Cup last year and current Belgian national champ played second fiddle in both World Cups, which means he'll take the same seat in the CX Heat Check Symphony and stay in the 2nd chair. Which takes us to our number 1 spot in the power ranking. And once again, it's the Cheats doppelganger, Ellie Iserbyt, taking home top honors. After he won in Iowa City, the pressure was on to win again to secure the top spot in the CX Heat Check, and Ellie was up to the challenge. Ellie Iserbyt, number 1. And there it is, your top 11 in this week's CX Heat Check Power Rankings. As you question whether an algorithm even exists, it does, we will jump into the women's top 11. And in the 11th spot, it's Katie Keough, 7th in the Jingle World Cup and 13th in Waterloo. Having star power like Katie Keough in 11th place shows you just how stacked this field is. In 10th place is Courtney McFadden, who is always turning it up to 11. 11th in both World Cups and 11th in the Trek C2. McFadden may not believe in the CX Heat Check algorithm, but that's okay. We keep cheering for her anyway.
Nice work, Sophia.
In ninth place, on the strength of a ninth place finish in the Waterloo World Cup, is Maud Captain. And here, we need to hit the brakes and do a little housekeeping. Last week, I introed Maud by saying we are the Maud Captains, and several of you, rightfully so, thought I was quoting Icicle Works. And kudos to you for going even more obscure than I intended. Although with the song showing up in Stranger Things, it makes sense that it has returned to the zeitgeist. However, what I was shooting for was the Who's Quadrophenia, we are the mods, we are the mods, we are the Maud Captains. I got it wrong, and I'll do better next time. Whisper to a scream. In 8th place, it's Becca Fahringer. A 10th place finish keeps her right where she was last week, which on its face seems fairly inconsequential. But when you zoom out to take in the whole picture, the ramifications are huge. With Becca staying at number 8 and Kerry Werner moving up to number 7, the heat check within the heat check, the Becky versus Kenny power rankings have flip-flopped, with Werner now achieving bragging rights at the Kona Maxxis RV. Slotted in at number 7, racing on grit, Moxie, and a tasteful assortment of cookie varieties, it's Jen Jackson. In the running for the CX Heat Check's favorite Canadian cyclocross racer, Jackson followed up her C2 win in Iowa with a 7th place in the Waterloo World Cup and a 6th place in the C2. And in 6th place in the CX Heat Check Power Rankings is Carolyn Mani. The Pactimo Colorado Proud rider finished 3rd in the C2 and 6th in the World Cup before taking a well-documented dirt nap at the finish line. And here we are at the top 5. And staying steady in the 5th spot is the CX Heat Check's favorite, with a U, British rider, Evie Richards. Putting in the last efforts of the season before a well-deserved break, Richards was vying for the win at the Waterloo World Cup before slipping to 3rd in the final lap. Dropping one spot from 3rd to 4th is Clara Hansinger. 2nd place in the Trek C2 and 4th in the World Cup. Hansinger continues to put up impressive results, but when you get near the rarefied air of the CX Heat Check Power Rankings podium, even impressive results fall a little short of the mark. And here we are at our top 3. And in the 3rd spot is our biggest heat seeker. From off the charts to number 3, it's Jolanda Neff. Heck, if the heat check were a race and we still had a lap to go, she'd probably be on the top spot. That's how hard she was charging at the end of the World Cup in Waterloo. An impressive win in the C2, followed up by a late race surge that earned her 2nd in the Wisconsin World Cup. Neff had no problem making the transition from MTB to cyclocross.
Whatever, cross-country sucks.
And here we are at the final 2. Last week, we resolved the long-standing CX Heat Check point of contention over Maghalie Rochette not being number 1. Rochette has dominated the cyclocross season to date, but here comes Katarina Nash winning the Waterloo World Cup to stake her claim on the number 1 spot. Who is it going to be? Rochette or Nash? In the 2nd spot, it is Maghalie Rochette. Send your angrily worded letters to feedback@cxhairs.com. But a 5th place in the Waterloo World Cup compared to a win for Nash was just enough for the CX Heat Check algorithm to put the aforementioned Katarina Nash in the top spot. Nash, your new leader in the CX Heat Check Power Rankings.
It's turning into check, right?
And there you have it, episode 5 of the Volet Apparel CX Heat Check Power Rankings. We have a bye week coming up, which means we get to catch up on early season race action we missed. Stay tuned for those recaps. We also want to see you in Baltimore, Maryland, October 12th and 13th for Charm City Cyclocross in the Union Craft Brewing Rafa Parkway CX Trophy. It's North America's biggest flyover and the coveted Pactimo jersey. Don't miss it by going to charmcitycross.com. Let us know your thoughts by using the hashtag CXHeatCheck. Leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and tell your cyclocross friends to do the same. Also, hit us up at feedback@cxhairs.com with your questions and comments. Until next time, I'm Bill Scheiken for CX Hairs and the Wide Angle Podium Network. Talk to you soon, cyclocross friends.